We have a linked list. This is the head pointer. Let's just like put some data here, 1, 3, 4, 5, and these are the pointers. Pointer, 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 pointer. Okay. Now let's say that we want to print all the data. Okay, how do I do that? Okay, so let's write a code. Let's call it print. So first of all, you need to have the pointer in order to do it, right? So you need to have the head pointer. So node star h, we need this. Okay, you can pass it by reference or you can pass it by value. Here we pass it by value. We don't need to change it. We just want to print it, right? So here, what we need to do, we need to traverse through the linked list. Let's say this is our linked list structure, node, integer, don't forget the semicolon, integer data, and node star, let's call it next. Okay, so we have to traverse through this linked list. How do we do it? You do it using either a while loop or we do it using a for loop. Both of them are possible. Okay, so how do we traverse through the linked list? We need to have a pointer, right? Here I can use the same pointer as I have for h, but I'm just gonna define another pointer. Let's like assume that this was, if this was the reference, we don't want to change this, right? So this case, I'm just gonna have a node star. Let's call it current, for example. Current. I initialize it with h. So it means that it points to the head of the linked list. Okay. And what I need to do in this loop is basically saying that C is equal to C arrow next. Right? It means that whatever C is, I want it to basically be pointing to the next node. I want it to be pointing to where this pointer is pointing to. So it's gonna move like this, right? Again, this, I want it to be pointing to where this one is pointing. So this is going to be gone and this is going to point here. So this is what's going to happen in the loop, and this is how we traverse. What else we want to do? We want to, let's say, see out the C arrow data. End line. Okay, that's all we want to do. Okay, now what should the condition for the loop be? So this, you have to basically think about it before writing it. In many cases, we want to go all the way to the end, and we want to make C to be equal to this one. So in this case, I'm just going to write while C is not equal to null. Right? It means that C is going to point here, then it's going to point here, then it's going to point here, and eventually it becomes equal to this pointer, null. So in many applications, we want to stop here. In many applications, you might just like want to stop right here. So in this case, we could also write this as C arrow next is not equal to null. But if we write the code like this, if we write the condition like this, we end up not printing the last data. Okay, that's why I wrote it like this. Okay, you might want to write it like this and then print it afterwards, but I think this is a better code. So this is how you traverse through a linked list. You just like basically this is the part that does the traversing for us. And we just basically make sure that's exactly why we have to fill the last pointer with the null so that we know when do we stop. Okay, so just one reminder that if this was passed by reference, I didn't want to change this. So it would be necessary to create another pointer to do the traversing for us. If this is a local variable, if it's a copy of the pointer, I actually didn't need the new node pointer. I could have just like done everything with H. I could have done it like this. I prefer the first one, that you would have a separate pointer, you don't touch the H. But in this case, this is a local variable, we don't need it. Like we only need to know where it starts, and then even if we change it, it doesn't really matter for this case. But if it was like this would be a sin. This would be very wrong, because we don't want to change the H. In this case, it would be like this. This is better. Okay. You can also let's say like if you're searching for a number and we want to return true or false. So let me just change this one to Boolean search, and we are searching for a target. Okay, if this was the case, we would just like write something like this. If, what should I write? What should the condition be? So like we are searching for this target. Let's say target is equal to 10 and we want to know if it exists in our linked list, right? What should I write? I'm just gonna write if C arrow data is equal target, let's say return true, return 1 or true, right? Otherwise, again, a very bad mistake that some students make is like writing else return 0. If you do that, you're basically checking only the first element. No, so we write a while loop, we check if this is equal to target. If it is, then we are done, return true. If it's not, then traverse through the linked list, go to the next node.